You're listening to Popcorn in Orbit, a podcast for sci-fi lovers of all galaxies, hosted by filmmakers Jeremy Major and Ian P. Causer.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Popcorn in Orbit. I am Jeremy Major here in Canada, and I'm alongside Ian P. Causer in Great Britain.
How are you, Jay?
Good. How you doing, Ian?
It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's been a long summer.
It's been a long, busy summer.
And was it good for you?
Yes. It was exciting, busy. Got some stuff done. Enjoyed working with yourself on something different.
Yeah, we did some filming this summer, working on a project.
We did.
Details to follow, but we can share that it's science fiction.
It is.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Shocker.
alert. Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah. So we got that in the can, and we'll be sharing more information about that over the coming episodes, I'm sure.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. So this is exciting because this is the start of a new season for us here. And we've got tons of great stuff planned, a lot of great discussions lay ahead, some fun activities and various things, of course. I'm actually very excited about today's episode because we're trying something different here. And this is something we're calling legends.
Yeah.
Right. And we've got someone that we've identified as a legend in the filmmaking cinema world that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah. I mean, and he was, I wouldn't say completely overlooked, but he wasn't spoken about as he should have been in the first season. And I know this chap's an absolute favorite of yours.
He is. So just before we get to that, I thought we could start with something fun. So a couple of weeks ago, I was walking in the beaches in Toronto. Have you heard of this? You familiar with this area? All right. It's a lovely little area. There's a cute little, a bunch of storefronts, and then, of course, a beach.
Okay.
But we were in this one little bookstore. And by the way, like, I kind of forgot what, sort of an old style bookstore was like and how charming that can be. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. They're disappearing.
Yeah. Not that I don't love the big box ones, but
yeah, no. I as soon as you said a little old bookstore, I thought to a bookstore I found years ago on Bleecker Street in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
And I spent longer in that little bookstore than I did at the top of the Empire State Building. Genuinely.
What is
possibly
that?
Because I don't like heights. That might come into it. It was kind of, you get out the lift. Oh wow, that's horrible. Yeah. My wife took some lovely photos. Let's get back down to the ground. I can't remember what it was called. I'm sorry. I hope it's still there, but I do remember it was Bleecker Street.
There's a charm to these places that you just can't. I don't know. You can't get in the big bookstores, but the big bookstores have other great benefits like coffee and
toilets. Yeah, toilet, bathroom.
Yeah, and of course this shop had this kind of area of little novelties and games and things. And so there's this one there that I thought would be absolutely perfect. It's a little tiny game. It fits on my hand, and it's called Poorly Explained Movies, 80s edition.
Okay.
So the way they describe it, I love this. Has your mom ever forgotten the name of a movie she just watched and decided to describe it to you instead? Well, that's this game in a nutshell, where basically you try and identify these movies based on the worst description ever. So, are you ready to play a couple rounds?
I am. I should be good at this because my mom does exactly that. What about yours?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that guy who's in that movie
the
with
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it put a New York accent on it would be almost like gangsters talking. The guy with the thing.
Okay, here we go. This one's actually on the outside of the box too, but we'll start with it. Okay, a baby's life is forever changed by a watermelon.
Okay, so I've got to guess the film based on that.
You got to guess the title of the film.
A baby's life is forever changed by a watermelon.
You'll definitely know this title.
I've just got Look Who's Talking in my head. I've got Look Who's Talking in my head because the 80s.
This is 1987. The hint is Before Dancing on a Log.
I have no idea.
It's Dirty Dancing.
Oh, I've never seen it, to be fair.
All right, this one you're going to love. Four friends roast a marshmallow together.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, isn't this fun?
Yeah.
That one looks really hard. A business school dropout discovers that alcohol is the answer.
Wall Street?
The hint is serving it specifically. Serving it.
Oh, cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Couple more here for fun. This is a good one. Sci-fi. A dead police officer still has to go to work.
RoboCop.
Wow. That's impressive, actually. A high schooler starts a business while his parents are on vacation.
Oh, that's got to be... is that Ferris Bueller or is it...
You're in the right realm, I feel like. But
what's the one with the dead guy?
No, I don't think it's that one.
It's not that one. I give up.
Risky Business.
I've never seen it. A lot of Cruise films here.
Yeah. The hint was he goes pantless. Well, I guess Cruise was in a lot of movies in the 80s.
He was, yeah.
I suppose that's one argument. Let me find you one more. Oh, this is fun. A foreign man steps on a bunch of people in the subway. 1986.
Foreign man steps on a bunch of people.
The hint is he has a big knife.
I have no clue.
That's not a knife.
Oh, now Crocodile Dundee.
There you go.
Crocodile Dundee, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my wife's favourite movies, that is.
Is it really?
Yeah, and Dirty Dancing. She won't be impressed I didn't get either of those.
So there you go. That's Poorly Explained Movies, 80s edition.
That's fantastic, yeah.
Okay, so on to today's topic. Do you want to set this up for us?
Yeah, because I think if people asked me who my favourite filmmaker is, or people said who's Ian's favourite filmmaker, people would rightly jump to Steven Spielberg, and they'd be correct. Now, knowing you as I do, I know you love Spielberg. You do.
I do,
absolutely. But if we were on a show where I was having to guess, like in a Mr. and Mrs. situation, who's Jeremy named as his favourite filmmaker, I'd be seesawing between Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis.
And rightly so.
Yeah. Are you prepared to actually go on record and say Robert Zemeckis is your favourite filmmaker?
Perhaps. Yeah. And yeah, don't get me wrong. Maybe I just love them both, but very differently, you know? They both, I feel like, have helped shape my career as a filmmaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like Spielberg was kind of the first, probably, with Jurassic Park. That was a big moment in my life. But over the years that followed, I feel like there was something about Zemeckis' work that I just loved in a very different way.
What makes a Zemeckis film a Zemeckis film?
Well, I feel like I'm in an interview.
Sorry.
Just to kind of establish then, today we're going to be talking about Robert Zemeckis and his incredible career.
Yeah,
he is a legend. So what makes a Zemeckis film a Zemeckis film? Well, I think what's fascinating about Zemeckis personally is that he has done every genre. And I'll talk more about this in a moment, but I watched Here last night for the first time just to kind of help prepare. I thought I'd watch the most recent thing. And if there's one thing I can say is even when you may not love the movie, there is an emotional resonance that he can create.
Yeah.
To me, it's like nobody else. I find that he does it through maybe more his films in the 90s as opposed to like the Back to the Futures and stuff like that. There's a certain stylistic approach that I feel like is somewhat consistent. And it's partly in how the camera moves. And I think he puts it on like a crane a lot. Not that really matters so much, but just the way it kind of comes in on people.
Yeah.
And, that combined with like Alan Silvestri's score and stuff like that, he just creates these really touching moments.
Yeah, he does. I agree with that completely. There are filmmakers, particularly in the sci-fi realm, that I feel, as genius as they are, lack heart in some of their projects.
Yeah.
You could never level that, Zemeckis.
No.
Maybe the first question I'll ask Tom Hanks when I meet him.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine Tom Hanks' answer to the question, who are the most important directors in your career, are going to be Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis. Yeah. So I'd love to know, from Tom's perspective, what's the difference between with working with these guys?
That would be a really interesting question.
And I think he's probably better placed than anybody to answer that.
Yeah.
Having worked with both of them on more than one occasion.
Multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah,
totally. And just to go through, like, I've got a list here in front of me, so I don't, forget, but just to go through some of the films, because I think people might not realize that some of these
didn't.
Incredibly famous films were him, right? And it's partly because he doesn't just have one style.
Yeah.
Or one genre. So, I mean, it goes way back to, 1978 with I Want to Hold Your Hand. I don't even know that film. I feel like I started monitoring him maybe around Romancing the Stone, which was like 84.
Yeah.
Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the Back to the Future sequels, Forrest Gump, which was Oscar winning.
Yeah, fantastic.
We've got, and then here, like the ones that I love, there was a spell here with Contact, Castaway. He's got, What Lies Beneath, Flight. I guess I'm going totally out of order here in terms of years, maybe. The Polar Express. I don't think a lot of people realize that's Zemeckis.
I thought that was Spielberg.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Until I was researching this episode, I thought that was Spielberg.
And he's got this kind of spell of animation films that were really pushing the technology, like the motion capture and all of that.
Yeah.
By today's standards, they can look a little uncanny valley, a little creepy or whatever else. But lots of heart, Beowulf, A Christmas Carol, The Witches, Welcome to Marwen.
The Witches.
Yeah, The Witches he did do.
Yeah.
Allied, The Walk, Pinocchio, and most recently Here.
It's a phenomenal career.
It is. It really is.
And I see maybe it's just in my head, but I see a chronology with Spielberg through there. And I know they work very closely together. I think they produced each other's works.
And, there's been some of that,
And Spielberg has directed some things that Zemeckis has written. And so there's clearly a chronology there. But just going off the films you've just mentioned.
Yeah.
Romancing the Stone to me as a kid in the 80s, and Julian and I were, please forgive the term, rip-offs of Indiana Jones. It was taking on that adventure story with this charismatic character and kind of trying to build off of that. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I mean, I remember seeing that at cinema, and that was kind of... I know Bedknobs and Broomsticks, some of the Disney stuff had put real people with animation before, but never to the level of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That was brand new.
Yes.
That was groundbreaking.
It's also like it was classical animation, right?
Yeah.
Like hand-drawn animation at that time. Because, Who Framed Roger Rabbit goes back to 1988.
Do you remember Jessica Rabbit? Do you remember? I remember. That's what sticks to me is Bob Hoskins and Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
What sticks out for me.
That's why I was just chuckling. I saw that film in the cinema, and a friend who I kind of saw every film in the 90s with this one friend of mine, and after the film, I seem to recall him saying like, "She was pretty hot, eh?"
Yeah. How can you have a crush on a cartoon? I suppose if you're that age, it's possible. It's certainly possible. It's like possible. Even The Witches. I didn't realize The Witches was him.
Which took a beating.
Yeah, it did. It
took a beating.
I haven't seen it, to be fair.
Yeah.
It does seem to be that's the case for Zemeckis. He either takes a beating or he gets an Oscar. It's crazy, really.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And that is partly what I love about him. Is like it's that willingness to take a risk. And I think the first time I felt like the movie was walking a line between working and not working. For me, it worked. Was Contact.
Okay. See, for me, it worked as well. I don't think of that as on that line, but
well, I felt like
because I like it.
I feel like there are things in that film that could have not worked.
I certainly think the sort of reveal at the end polarized people.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was fantastic. I almost feel like Contact was ahead of its time in a story sense.
Yes, I can get that.
This intelligent sci-fi that's become far more common sort of post 2005, I would suggest.
Yeah.
I think it would fit in there. In that.
Right.
But at that point, sci-fi was Mars Attacks, sci-fi was Starship Troopers, sci-fi was Verhoeven in the mid-90s. And here you've got an intelligent science fiction story without aliens, really. Even they're looking for contact, but not with little green men or xenomorphs or predators.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was adult sci-fi.
You just love that term.
But it was for a mature audience. And that mature audience, the demographics believed that mature audience existed in 1996 or whenever it came out.
Yeah.
It did. But it suffered from that a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
For me, it was ahead of its time.
And I think a lot of people maybe wouldn't necessarily, the themes around, they're somewhat, let's call them spiritual, religious, whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. That wouldn't necessarily resonate with everybody.
I think Lost does, though, and I think it's a film about loss. I think it's a film about searching for, trying to fill a hole of losing a parent. And that is universal. And I don't understand, no matter what your theological perspectives in life are, I don't understand even the most rampant atheist knocking something with a hopeful ending, because it's a movie at the end of the day. Sure. I think people might have, when you say the people that don't perhaps like it, they probably go in there thinking this is a film about extraterrestrials and finding extraterrestrials, whereas actually it's a film about, for me, it's a film about loss and processing grief.
Here's something that I'm sure others did it, but I feel like Zemeckis has never shied away from this kind of thing, where there's a ton of special effects in that movie that you don't even see. Like, they're not otherworldly, nothing, like sometimes it's just a reflection in a pool, or you know what I mean? He's gone in and added these little touches. There's that whole sequence where Ellie is in the car, hears the signal, drives back towards the building, runs up the building. Like, that's in multiple locations, like around the country. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. All in that one little shot that's absolutely incredible and engaging, right? Just so many little details and sort of invisible effects, I guess you'd call them.
Yeah, you never have to worry about Zemeckis' priority, and the priority is always going to be emotional heft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's never going to use an effect for the sake of the effect.
No.
Which is what lesser directors sometimes do. Or franchise, let's be honest. I'm just going to say it. I'm feeling brave. It's season 2. Transformers 27 is just effects for effects' sake.
Right.
Robert Zemeckis would never do that.
Yeah.
It's always in to assist the storytelling and the emotional heft of what you're watching.
Yeah.
It's like, how many special effects are in Castaway? There's going to be thousands of shots.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you just revisited that recently, right?
I did. It's my favorite Zemeckis film. I didn't want to...
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah, I didn't want to steal your... Because I don't know, I think it might be your favorite as well. I might be wrong.
Yeah, if it's not, it's like a close number 2.
Castaway it's a phenomenal film in so many ways that aren't generic. Does that make... There's so much of that film that you go, this just shouldn't work.
Yeah.
It is not a happy ending.
No.
There is no antagonist. No. Unless you consider the island an antagonist.
Yeah, nature, I suppose.
Nature. Nobody does anything wrong, yet everybody ends up sad and unhappy.
Oh, yeah.
He's done nothing wrong. Helen Hunt's done nothing wrong in remarrying. Her new husband's done nothing wrong. But there's a real emotional tug on that.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Is unusual for a Hollywood film.
Yes.
Then you add in... And this is partly the genius of Zemeckis, and it's partly the genius of Tom Hanks. How can you fall in love with a volleyball as an audience member and feel a genuine sense of loss when it floats away and he can't get to it?
Yes.
And seeing Tom Hanks hysterically crying on his raft and shouting Wilson's name.
But you see how risky that was? Like,
it is incredibly risky.
Today that could have just ended up being a meme that everyone laughs at.
Yeah. But it's anything but a meme.
Because we all felt it.
Yeah, we all felt it. But yeah, you get that. This is what you've always said about Zemeckis. He's walks in this razor's edge.
Yeah.
And it's so brave because you get that wrong and it's unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
But the last thing it is for anybody who's ever watched that film is funny.
Totally.
Hanks's performance is exceptional. Might be the best of his career.
I know.
I think. It was the little things like when Hanks finds the body of the pilot, his reaction to that is like no other reaction I've ever seen in film. We all know he's dead. He knows he's dead. He's floating face down. But that guttural reaction to the bloat and the fact that this guy's started to decompose, this friend of his, it is heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
The burial of said person and the fact that Hanks doesn't say a prayer. He finishes burying him and just sort of shrugs. It's a very clever way of telling us what that character thinks of theology and spirituality, which is the opposite to contact. The very fact FedEx allowed, and I looked this up because I was amazed FedEx would allow one of their planes to go down in the film. And and the CEO of FedEx at the time said, it's stupid not to. We fly millions of flights a year. It's going to happen at some point. Why would we stop it? That's not something you'd see today from a modern company, I don't believe. They'd be terrified of this idea of the negative. I feel like the opening scenes of it are the perfect microcosm of American exuberance, enthusiasm.
Yep.
You won't see a Brit. And one of my good friends, John, who kindly listens to this pod, he's a one-company man. He's worked for the same company his whole life, and he's very pro that company. I'm not going to name the company unless they want to pay us to advertise them. He's as close as a company guy as I've ever met.
Yeah.
And Tom Hanks' love for FedEx and enthusiasm for FedEx is 10 times what my buddy John's is for his company.
Right,
and that sort of passion for what is a relatively banal job, that screams as a Brit, as very American cultural kind of workplace culture. And when they're comparing their diaries, they're both very invested in their job, which again is not very British. So again, it feels very American. And I have to wind on him taking his tooth out. That honestly, it's too good.
And what a wild shot that is too, right?
Yeah.
It's a really strange, like wide angle.
Yeah. It's too good.
This goes back to a point we made quite some time ago about just this idea that Tom Hanks is a personality that doesn't need anyone else.
Yeah.
He can carry it on his own because he does for, I think, about 45 minutes.
Yeah. And I think if you ask most people, they'd say the whole 2 hours. It's just Hanks.
I know, you feel that way. Yeah.
But there's nobody better to spend those 2 hours with. Some of his shots as well. As a director, you must appreciate the way that I just remember that there's a shot where he's lying on the beach, at the start on the island, and then the FedEx packages start to wash in front of him in the foreground, and Hanks crawls through the wet sand to start picking them up. Just the choice of the camera angle. And that's what I think of as Zemeckis. That's a Zemeckis shot. I can see a Spielberg shot, and I can see a Michael Mann shot, and I can see a Zemeckis shot. And that is classic Zemeckis.
For me, the great Zemeckis shots are, for example, when he climbs up to the top of that rocky cliff or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you have these sort of very slow, what seems like sort of a dolly, as I say, it's probably on a crane or something, but it just creates this really sentimental kind of moment.
It does. Awe-inspiring.
Awe-inspiring, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that's great in that film is the use of music and how there is no music when he's on the island. And it comes in as he crosses over that threshold.
Yeah.
It's like there's that relief and the music comes in and you don't even quite realize it, but it's just like it evokes so much emotion in you.
I didn't realize it until you just said it. But
and the music is so sparse.
Yeah.
It's just so delicate.
Yeah, the soundtrack of the island is the wash, isn't it? It's the sea and the beach constantly. And, I know I've said it's a brilliant performance, but I do want to just highlight how brilliant a performance it is from Mr. Hanks. His reaction, when the coconuts are dropping, he doesn't know what it is, the way he jumps away. In certain scenes, he uses his ability to do physical comedy to actually make some of that stuff actually quite funny.
It's true.
And it harks back to his work in like The Money Pit or... and he used, or The Burbs, where he developed this physical comedy, Tom Hanks did, as a comic actor, which is just phenomenal. And you just know, of course, he turns into one of the great dramatic actors of all time. There's not many actors that can do it. That one-hander type thing.
No, it's true.
And nobody's done it better.
Yeah.
For me, he's the best. I remember seeing, before, he effectively ruined his own career, Will Smith in I Am Legend, and he was pretty good. He was pretty good. But he had a German Shepherd with him. Right. So it's not a true one-hander. And as a guy who's had German Shepherds, I was far more worried about the German Shepherd than Will Smith's character. You're not going to do it without an absolute A-lister because it's probably commercial suicide. Robert Redford did it.
Yeah, okay.
At All Is Lost.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, which Bob Monroe, a guest on a previous season he worked upon, and he was good. But again, you're talking like Hollywood royalty here, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about a couple other films here because it's such a mixed bag. Here's one that's been fascinating over the years. I've told you about how, we used to have a theater, and one of the things we would do there was we'd create these very sort of social events. So we'd have a movie, but there'd be this additional component to it. And one that we got requests for, and we thought we'd try it, was Polar Express.
Okay.
Santa would come out at the end of the screening, and we'd invite people to come with their pajamas on, and we'd hand out candy canes and have a carol sing and all this sort of thing, right? People loved it, but it would literally sell out. And I didn't realize until that moment how popular this movie is.
I didn't know that either.
No. And again, it's very touching, great emotion. And of course, that's what everyone wants with a sentimental Christmas film. But there are some very strange things about this film. Like, have you seen it?
I haven't, no.
Okay, all right. Okay, then we don't have to spend a lot of time talking about it. But for example, I mean, it's that mocap thing, right? And so you have this, uncanny valley kind of mouths and faces and stuff at times. And, but also there's some characters with really strange voices, including the elves. You've got to check this out. The elves have they're like angry New Yorkers.
Really? Yeah. That's an interesting choice.
It's so strange.
But they're always interesting choices, aren't they?
They're always interesting choices.
Yeah, you never think, it's never sort of a straight out central casting. It's never predictable or cliched. It's always an interesting choice.
Yeah.
The movie of his that I think of like that is What Lies Beneath.
Yes, okay.
He's taken this icon, who's up there with Hanks in terms of size and Harrison Ford, and let's make him a serial killer. That's a really interesting choice that I imagine studios were a bit nervous about.
Yeah.
And the reveal only comes at the end that he's the bad guy.
Right. That's a really tough thing for an audience to buy into.
And I don't like it. As people may remember from our last pod episode, Mr. Harrison Ford is in my Hall of Fame. He was one of the very first inductees. I don't want to see him as a wife killer.
No.
But Zemeckis thought it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And went for it. And this is a film he shot in the middle of Castaway. They shot the beginning of Castaway. Wow.
And then it was, I think, nearly a year or something. While Tom,
lost weight.
Tom Hanks changed his appearance and everything else. Yeah. And then they went back.
That's just mind blowing if you think about it.
I know.
Because there's no sort of bleeding there's nothing of Castaway in What Lies Beneath or vice versa.
There's not. Yeah. It's like a different director.
I think it got unfairly reviewed, What Lies Beneath.
You think so?
Yeah. My guess would be, and if I ever lucky enough to meet him, I'll ask him, is What Lies Beneath is his tip of the cap to Hitchcock. It's a very Hitchcockian type thriller. And you've even got the stunning leading lady, Michelle Pfeiffer, that for Hitchcock it would have been Grace Kelly or Kim Novak. And we've got Michelle Pfeiffer in that role. And the creepy camera angles and it's very Hitchcockian. I reckon he had fun on that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I feel like Castaway was, I'm making a film, and it would have been hard work and serious stuff. And What Lies Beneath is, let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't make Harrison the bad guy. Please don't make Harrison the villain.
And then Zemeckis has this kind of spell of sort of fantasy, almost like comedy. I'm trying to, I don't know quite how to describe them. There's probably a name for this genre. But if you think about movies like, I mean, even probably Roger Rabbit fits into this, but Death Becomes Her.
That was Zemeckis.
Yeah, that was Zemeckis.
Yeah, wow.
I know. You know what I mean? They're like fantasy, playful comedy with a little horror edge.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's just because my brain is so Spielberg driven, but I go to Spielberg with Poltergeist and some of the stuff he did, and it was very similar. There's kind of like a horror twist to it.
Yeah, you're right.
My guess is they're probably just like you and me, but uber talented. And what I mean by that is they are probably guys who just movie nerds like you and me, didn't have a favorite genre, loved Howard Hawks, loved John Ford Westerns, loved this, loved that, loved the other. And when you get there and you pretty much can write your own ticket,
yeah,
we're going to have a go at everything. We're going to have a go at everything we love, you know.
But you can see how there are like these animated films that all kind of have a similarity, these fantasy films similarity, the dramas. And then you've got, I feel like Back to the Future is almost like this outlier.
That's his great franchise. Yeah. So Lucas's franchise is Star Wars and Spielberg's is Indiana Jones. Back to the Future is Zemeckis' franchise. It's interesting they all have one.
Isn't it?
And it's probably the success of those franchises that means they can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
It's times in a person's life, isn't it?
Yeah, there's probably some truth to that. We don't know
about Zemeckis' personal life, but I wouldn't want to guess. But I'm imagining these line up with specific times in his life. You're in a period of your life where you want to make serious drama, like Contact, like Castaway. And there are other times where you want to be a little goofy. You know, you know, things are good. Let's make something goofy like Death Becomes. So that'll be fun.
I do find myself as a filmmaker, my sort of first goal with doing something is to almost like prove to myself I can do it.
Okay, yeah.
See what I mean? So I think of these guys like going into different genres. It's like, you almost want to let me explore that. Let me prove to myself I can do that genre. And
I think that's probably the key for all artists, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know the chronology, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said to Tom Hanks, you can't do drama. And so then he goes and looks for Philadelphia or whatever it was that was the first one.
Yeah, right.
He was like, you know, there's a kind of, I'll show you, you know. I've had that myself, you know, as a writer. Like, you know, I write sci-fi, I write westerns predominantly.
Yeah.
So somebody will say, well, you can write a comedy. So you like, I'm going to go and write a comedy then. You know, sometimes that's all it requires is somebody to say you can't do it or somebody to pigeonhole you.
It is a big thing in the industry. And we've seen that just out pitching projects in that, where it's like, well, what have you done in this genre at this same budget level?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, man, maybe I'm entering new territory here. Yeah. Like there's no room for that, it seems, until you've established yourself maybe with an Oscar and whatever else. And then, what do you want to do?
And I think even then there is a skepticism from the money men. You know, they get a little nervous.
They would much prefer the safe choice.
Exactly, yeah. I think as an artist, you want to do something different. And as a money man, they want to rinse and repeat. No, that makes money. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Yeah. Even Spielberg at his pomp, you know, in the 80s. I mean, he's a box office guarantee, but films like Always and Hook, and there were some duds in there, you know, there were some duds in there, both financially and critically. I think what terrifies people on the business side of the industry is if Steven Spielberg can have duds, all bets are off here. So we've got to be, we're going to be super risk averse.
Yes.
We don't want to see Tom Cruise in a part where his first name's Humphrey. Let's put it that way. You know, Tom Cruise has to play Jack Ethan and he has to be this. Yeah. And that is very constricting. And I feel like more than any well-known filmmaker of the last 30 years, Zemeckis is the one who stands out for me as going, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not.
And it could well easily be that he turns around and says his favorite film is not something we've mentioned today. Because I think he will look at success not as a box office figure, but if it came out how he wanted it to come out. And God bless him for that.
Yeah. So, last night I watched Here, as I mentioned. Wow, what a courageous film this is. And for anyone who's not familiar with it, I think it came out like around Christmas 2024 there. So it's fairly new. And it is basically a camera in one position that you witness over the span of literally millions of years. They focus in on about, a couple hundred years, let's say. And it jumps back and forth between these timelines throughout the story. And the main timeline, of course, is Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, and watching them through the years as they get older and, how their family kind of changes. I think the one thing about it, like it's such a high concept approach, right? To plant this camera in what's essentially one corner of the room. So it's a bit like watching multiple stage plays kind of cut together. Yeah. The question I've been asking myself is, would this film work if it wasn't done in that style? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Is there a story there that you could shoot in a different style? And I don't know, like in a conventional style. And I don't know that it would work as well. It's like it only worked because of that. So my head's trying to figure that one out right now.
The question I have is, does the story come from, is the initial kernel of the idea of this film, is that based on the technology? And then we've got to write a story around it? Or is it based upon the story and then they fix it into this technology?
Yeah.
Now, for me, as a writer, I don't like the idea of we're going to use this technology and mold a story around it. I think that's limiting.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the way stories should be told. But it would not surprise me in the slightest if Robert Zemeckis said, can I do it?
Yeah.
Will it work? And that's the driver is, will it work? Who knows?
Yeah.
And I'd love to know if that was in the pitch.
I would love to know that too. I guess we need to get Zemeckis on the show here.
We do, yeah.
Or Tom Hanks, or both.
Yeah. Both would be great.
There is a huge technology component to this film. My understanding is that, for example, the faces, because you're watching these people age over the years. And honestly, at this moment in time, I'm not even sure what age was the real Tom Hanks and what age was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I haven't really seen Tom Hanks. They use like a combination of, my understanding is it was like AI and CG to create these faces. And the benefit of the AI was they could actually have like a really good version on set that was real time replacing the faces. So you could get a sense of the performance right then and there. And then I think it was kind of touched up later. If you look at any sort of frame grab or any one moment, it's like, that looks pretty real. But the overall impression is kind of like something's fishy.
Yeah.
But the way it kind of works in the end is the whole movie doesn't look real. Like it's strange in that like the whole thing kind of looks like CG, but doesn't look like CG. So I can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah.
But then this morning I wake up thinking about it. So it's like, despite all my sort of reservations in the moment, I'm still thinking about it.
That's the key.
He got me emotionally.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. It's whether it works, it doesn't work, whether you like it, you don't like it, you're thinking about it, means the filmmaker succeeded.
He connected.
Yeah. I salute the man. He does what he wants to do. And he's made some all-time classic movies.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you for listening. Robert Zemeckis, keep up the good work. Can't wait to see what you do next.
Absolutely.
Ian, it's good to be back. It's great to be here with you. We're going to finish today with one more poorly explained movies test for you.
Okay.
Here is your mother's worst summary of a movie. A member of the military starts driving a food truck. What movie is this?
Forrest Gump?
Nope. Although that would have been a great tie-in.
It would have been.
This is a film that we have talked about on this show.
Really? I have no idea.
I'll give you a hint. He was hit by lightning.
I'm pulling a blank.
That's right. Short Circuit, 1986.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen it since 1986, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That'll do it. That'll do it. All right, Ian, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay.
Popcorn in Orbit is produced by the Shooting Eye and Ice River Pictures.